Alrighty, and in case you missed it, my name is Kate. I will be going over print marketing with you today. Primarily, we are going to take a look at a print marketing flyer and the listing presentation, and how to kind of make edits and changes to those within Command. Um, Everyone will remain muted during today's class, but if you have any questions as we go along, feel free to drop those in the chat. I will keep an eye on the chat just in case it's something that needs to be answered right away. If you see me skip over your question, we may just come back to it at the end. It may require a little bit more, so we may just come back to that. So just keep that in mind. But let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we want to do is go to Command. So if you're not familiar with how to get to Command, just in case, I will drop the link in the chat, but it is agent.kw.com. That is how you access Command. Once you get there, you will sign in. As you can see, I'm already signed in, but you'll just use your KW username and password to get in. Your username's not case sensitive. Your password is, so make sure capitals are there, lowercase, special characters, etc. If you're running into issues signing in, there is an eyeball that you can click and view your password. Make sure there's no spaces before or after your password if you're copying and pasting. That will also prevent you from logging in. So, well, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm logged into Command. Keep in mind your Command home screen may look a little bit different, and that is totally okay. They are semi-customizable, so you can kind of adjust what you're going to see on this home screen when you log in. But for today's class, the first thing we want to do is we want to go to Designs. So all of our applets are over here on the left-hand side. If you're not super familiar with what the various applets are, you can click this red and white KW in the top left corner to expand those, and it will tell you the names. Or you can simply just hover over them until you find the one you're looking for. For today's class, though, we are going to primarily be in the Designs. So we're going to take a look at that. So now that we're in here, again, this is another section that can look different from one command to another. These are designs that I have previously created. So if you do not have any, that is totally okay. It just means you haven't gotten started yet. Or if you have different ones, that is also okay. As you can see, it's only going to show you 1 out of 10. You can change that to 20, and you can obviously go through the arrows, filter, search, etc., to find a design that you may be looking for. These are going to be your most recently edited on the first page. So the first thing we want to do is we want to take a look at assets. So in order for us to access our assets in Command, under the designs, we want to click this import design button. So that's in the top right. We're going to go ahead and select that. There it goes. For whatever reason, it did not click when I clicked on it. So it can take a second to load. Just be patient. If you get a little click happy, sometimes it will cause errors for you. So just hang on. It'll load as soon as it can. But once we're here, you're going to also see that I'm seeing my projects again. So these are, again, my designs, things that I've created within my command. You'll see that there's a templates, images, projects, assets. This is where we're going to take a look at first. So these are things that you can easily access when you are creating a design in Command. It makes it a little bit more streamlined, a little bit faster for you. So we do recommend making sure you update these. So we'll just take a look at each of them. The first section up here is the Keller Williams Realty assets. So those are going to be provided by Keller Williams International. Everybody will have the same assets in this specific section. So the first one's going to be colors and fonts. So again, provided by KWRI. These are their primary color palette that they use. So all of those colors are easily accessible for you when you're creating designs. They also have all of their KWRI provided fonts that you can easily access. The next section is going to be images. So these again are provided by them. There are a lot of great stock photos that you guys can use on various different designs throughout Command. You will notice there are various folders as well. If you're looking for something specific, you have Market Expert, which is going to give you some data. You have Miscellaneous, which is, a bunch of different kinds of graphics. You have holiday graphics you can take a look at, or images, not graphics, but basically photos. You have house interiors you can check out. App images if you were creating a download my app piece for something. You have lifestyle at home, and they're all going to have various photos, lifestyle activities, neighborhoods, and then house exteriors. So all of those images you are able to use in any of your graphics. Again, they are provided for you by KWRI. The next thing is text. So this is just going to be the ownership statement that each office is independently owned and operated. As most of you probably know, you do need to have that on most of your marketing, but do make sure you check with your compliance rules to see if there's anything else that needs to be included. Logos. These are going to be the KWU logos. You can also find events. I believe it's just Red Day currently. If you have luxury logos that you're using, miscellaneous is the NARS logo and the Equal Housing Opportunity. You have labs, and then you also have the Keller Williams generic KW logos. We will take a look at where you can find your market center specific logos when we get down to the My Assets. The next section's elements. These are basically what I like to call icons or symbols, various things that you might use on a regular basis. So if you're creating marketing in Command, you're most likely going to put your email, your phone number, your website, things like that on a lot of various pieces of marketing. So they have those created so that you can use them, or you can obviously grab your own. They have videos, and then they also have files. So again, those are the KWRI provided assets. You can create your own. We do recommend that you do this. It just makes it easier when you're creating your marketing pieces. If you have a set color palette that you use on a regular basis, if you've branded yourself or your team is branded to specific colors or things like that, it makes it really easy to pull in those colors to every piece of marketing that you create to make sure that you are consistent. So I've just got some random ones here that I've created, but if you want to create a new one, you just hit add palette. You can edit the name or delete, and then you go ahead and just pick your colors. Whatever colors you want them to be. I'm just going to grab a bunch of different shades. We'll get some reds. And then that is the color palette. So again, just super easy if that's something that you are branding yourself or your team and you want to have those easily accessible for all of your marketing, super easy to do. Same for fonts. If you want to use the same fonts on a lot of your marketing, it would be great to go ahead and add those to your assets. You can upload fonts or you can search the web for fonts. It will allow you to go ahead and view those and just quickly add them. And then they will show up right here. Next is images. This is primarily going to be for your headshots, or if you have team photos, things like that. You'll want to make sure that those are added here. You can easily remove the background from a photo once you've added it. In fact, we can take a look at that. You just hit remove background. It will remove that and add a new image. So super easy. Once that's done, we can go ahead and delete it since I already have one. Actually, I have a bunch of stuff that needs to be deleted. So we'll just clean this up. You can also rename them, duplicate, download, all of that stuff. So it has a bunch of different options. You can also create folders. So if you are a team, you can definitely create folders for all of your various agents and plug them into their own folder. Next is going to be text. So this is super handy when you're creating pieces of marketing that will allow you to easily pull in, for example, your app code, that's your branded app link, your website, phone number, addresses, bios, all of that stuff. It makes it super easy to grab that and pull it in. You can add new ones. You can rename them, edit them, etc. So it just makes it easy so you don't have to remember that code every time you want to pull that into your graphic. Logos, this is where you keep your market center specific logos, or if you have a team, you can see I have folders up here with various logos as well. So you can always access those. So before we go any further, I do want to show you guys where you can access your market center specific logo. In order to do that, we are going to go to kwconnect.com. Now, this is not to be confused with the Connect that is within Command. They are two separate websites or platforms currently. I don't know if they'll merge at some point, but kwconnect.com is separate. Once you're here and logged in, you can hover over Resources. And from there, you can go down to Marketing. And then once we're in Marketing, that first one is going to be Logos and Branding. From there, you're going to notice that there are, there's a bunch of information. And then when you get down, you can search for your market center specific logo. So you can search either by market center number or name. So I'm just going to pick a random number. That's not even one. So let's try a different one. 56. None of them are coming up. So we're just going to do 35. Once you see your specific market center that you're looking for, you can preview that over here on the right and it will show up. You can also then download that. So we'll just do Miami for today. As you can see, it's downloading a folder. I can then go ahead and access that. And let me pull that over for you guys to see. Give me 1 second. So now that we have that folder on our computer, there's a bunch of different folders within it. We're primarily going to take a look at the CMYK and the black and white. So if we click on that top one, you'll notice that it has various different colors and formats of those logos. So I can pull those into my assets so they're easily accessible for all of my pieces of marketing. The reason there's different colors and formats, obviously, depending on the background of whatever you're creating, you may want a transparent or non-transparent background or different colors. If we go back and check out black and white, we have the same thing. Different formats as well as different colors that we can utilize. Now that we have those downloaded, I'm going to go back and add a new folder. And we are going to pull those logos in. So upload from device. And then it is this folder here. From there, I can grab all of the available logos and pull them in. I can either upload or I can add more because I want to grab those other ones. So I'm going to go back and then I'm going to grab those. Now that I have those, I can hit upload. And now I have all of my various logos that I can easily pull into any design that I'm creating. Next is elements. Again, same thing as the KWRI provided ones. If you have any specific colors or icons or symbols that you're using on a regular basis. Same for videos and files. If you have any of those that you're using on a regular basis, it's easiest to have them as your assets. Now that we've gone through that, let's go back and take a look at actually creating our piece of print marketing. So there's a couple ways that you can get to the print marketing. So I'm going to show you both. We're going to head back to designs where we were. Now I can create it from here by hitting create design and selecting the type of marketing that I'm creating. So for today, we would obviously use print. But as you can see, once I click that, I'm brought into this same place I was before. Now, generally, we bring you into templates, so you can start picking that. But you can also be brought here on some occasions. It kind of depends where you left off. But templates is where you want to be to find the specific type of print marketing that you're creating. So since this is the same one as before, we can also go into import and just come into the templates like we did when we were accessing the assets. Once we're in here though with the templates, you'll notice that there's a bunch of categories on the left-hand side. And within those categories, there are subcategories. So you get to kind of figure out what you're creating first and then start designing it. Now, that's not to say that if you like a coming soon flyer or an open house flyer, you can't use it for another type of marketing. Once you're in here, it is basically yours to edit and customize how you want. So definitely if you like a graphic, use it for whatever you might want to be using it for. For today, though, we'll just take a look at the coming soon since it's already up. But you'll notice that up here, it's going to give you various sizes. So depending on what you're creating, you may want to filter that. We are not creating social pieces today, so we want to take a look at the flyers. As you can see, it has 3 different options. If we were looking at something else, for example, open house, we're creating an open house, and we click on the flyers, there are going to be different graphics. So again, if you like one, use it. But we will go back to coming soon. And I think we're in the auto create, so that's why it was giving us a limited amount. But if we're in the regular coming soon, there is a lot more options. So we're just going to pick one. I'm going to go ahead and pick this one here, and we're going to hit use. Direct mail is going to be for postcards through command. And we do have a class that goes over that. If you're looking to create a flyer, you would most likely want to mail that outside of command because the direct mailer is just for postcards currently. Once we're in our design though, you'll notice that we have the various different applets over here. So we have templates where we could go back if we wanted to. We have images. These are going to be stock images. These are going to be KWRI provided assets. So these are the ones we were previously taking a look at. And then we have my assets. So each of these categories is going to have its own. So text is going to have, you can create your own, you can grab different banners, and then you have the KWRI provided assets and your assets. So each of those is going to have that. Workspace is just going to have the KWRI and then mine. Elements, same thing, you can find stock, KWRI assets, and then your own. There is the KWLS where you can pull in listing information directly from the MLS, which we will take a look at. If you're not creating print marketing, say we were creating social pieces or something like that, you can use animation. However, for print marketing, animation is not going to work, so we won't be taking a look at that today. And then, of course, there is the support option. So let's go ahead and take a look at editing this. So you can edit every piece of this if you want to make the text bigger, if you want to change what it looks like. All of that can be edited to your liking. If I want to make this bigger and this bold, totally up to you. You can rearrange it. You want to pull it up more to the corner, however you'd like. From there, we can go ahead and start replacing images and text. So when I click on the image, I can easily swap that photo by hovering over the one that I want to replace it with and using this double arrow that is going to replace it in that exact space. Now, obviously, I don't want to put that image. So we're going to take a look at the KWLS. I did grab a listing for us to just pull. Now you can search for a listing a few different ways. We do recommend using the MLS number. Again, this is pulling from every MLS. So using the MLS number is just going to make it a little bit faster to find your listing. It always makes me do this. It didn't used to do this. They did an update or something, and now it does. So give me 1 second and get those pulled up for you. Oops, copied the wrong. Shoot, that's wrong. All right. It is just not working for me today. All right, guys, there is our listing. So now that we have our listing, we can go ahead and hit select. From there, it's going to allow us to grab any of the marketing information from the listing itself. So as you can see, it's showing all of the photos. I can also head over to the listing details and grab all of that information as well. Give me 1 second here. Um, So I can start swapping all of that. So if we go back to the photos, again, I do need to be clicked on the photo that I want to replace if I'm replacing a photo. So I can easily hit that little double arrow again and swap that photo out. It's going to put it in that exact same place. Now that's not to say I can't adjust it. If I double click on it, I can of course zoom in, I can move it around. Once I have it where I like it though, I can go ahead and hit done. Done is going to be basically my save in this example. And once I have that how I like it, I can go ahead and move on to my next piece. So I can click on the address. Again, I can come up here and grab the address from this information. Now I can hit the double arrow again. It's going to replace that. However, it is putting in more information than what was there. So it may need to be adjusted, or you could just manually edit it. If I erase this, you can also, instead of double clicking, you can use the typewriter, which is this one right here, and it will pull up a box that's going to allow you to change that. Once you're done, save changes, and it will put those changes there. Now let's say that we want this box to be bigger so that I can try to get this all on one line. Again, your design, you get to adjust it however you prefer. This is kind of big now, so I'm going to make it smaller. But same thing over here. You can pull in all of the listing details. You'll notice that these are all on separate text. So if I were to swap this, it's going to replace all of that text with one thing. So in some situations, replacing the text is not going to work. And you may need to manually edit it, either by clicking typewriter or by just double clicking. Once that's good, we can come down to the rest. Again, I'm not going to fully edit these today. These are just examples to walk you through how to edit this. So mine's not going to be 100%, but it will be good enough. Now we can start editing the rest. So if we want to edit name, we can go to text. And if my name is listed in here, which it is, I can go ahead and replace. If I have a team, phone number, again, this is all in one box. So unless I created an asset that had all of this information in one box, it's not going to work if I do the replace option, because it's going to replace all of that text with one thing. So in those examples, you may just want to edit them. Now, if that's really little for you, you can zoom in, and then you can start adjusting that. So I'm going to grab the SLM phone number real quick to pull over. Oops, we are just not copying and pasting today for whatever reason. It is not working for me. There we go. And edit that all of that information. So let's do Scott Leroy Marketing.com. And then we're going to change this to support at Scott Leroy Marketing. And then I'm going to leave that one there. And then, of course, you can edit the rest of this. So if you wanted to say something other than looking for your dream home, if you need to edit the description, that can be pulled from the MLS as well. If you're back in your listing, it will have that here. usually. I don't see it at the moment though. But it should have all of that in here as well, so you can pull it. Now for the logo, sometimes they are a little finicky and hard to click on, but you should be able to click on them at some point. And then you can easily replace that. So same thing as before, if you click on one and replace it, obviously I don't want to use white on this because you can't see it. So we want us to select one that we can see. But if we were using that graphic elsewhere, let's say that it was up here in the photo, we may want to use the one with the white because we could see it a little easier. Next is photo. Again, you want to come into images and assets to pull that in. You get to swap it. Now, depending how it pulls in, you may need to adjust it the same as we did on the other ones. So by dragging and dropping, or you can zoom in. It is however you prefer it. Once we're all done with this, and everything is updated the way that we want, we can simply order print or we can download. Now you would want to do PDF or PDF for printing. The only difference is the PDF for printing does give you those bleed lines so that you know that nothing is going to be cut off when you actually print that. And then we will just hit download. Sometimes it does take a second for it to download. You'll see the bar down here when it does, and then it will pop up over here. Now I can either print this in the office or I can send it to be printed somewhere else. But that is your flyer. I'm just going to take a look and see if there are any questions. You're looking to change the flyer to an HTML. I don't know if it gives you that option here. I believe that it does not. You can still mail from command, however, you cannot send flyers. It's only postcards, and that is our direct mailers class. So if you want to check that out, you definitely can. We do go over how to create those and mail them. All right, so we are done with this. So I'm going to go ahead and hit done. That is my save. It's going to ask me save or don't save. And then it's going to bring me back into my designs. So it can take a little while for that to show up over here. However, usually if you go into imports, you'll see it right away. So as you can see, it is right here. All right, I don't see any other questions. So we are going to jump into the listing presentation now. I'll point out where the buyer presentation is as well, but it is editable in the exact same way. We won't go through the entire listing packet just because it is a lot of customization, but we do want to show you guys how you access and edit that. So again, we are in the My Projects and we want to go over to templates. Now, once you're in the templates, you'll see that there is the listing presentation under listing. And if you're under buyer, you can see the buyer presentation. There are a few different options. They are all booklets in letter size. From there, if you hover over them, you're going to see that they have a little, it's kind of an image here in the top left corner that has like pages and it says 9+. And if you hover over it long enough, it will start to go through those pages and flip through them. Same for any of these. All of these are going to be multiple pages. And all of them will have various amounts of pages. Usually they're about the same though. But let's go back to listing presentation. Same thing, you have 5. If you hover over it, we'll start to flip through them and it shows that there is multiple pages. We're just going to pick one and go ahead and start editing it. So I'm going to use this last one on the right and we're going to hit use. And this is just your personal preference on style. They mostly have exactly the same information. Now, once we're in the listing presentation, you are going to notice that a lot of this is exactly the same. The one thing that is different when you get into something that has multiple pages is this little button down here in the bottom right corner. it says pages and it says 29. If we were to click that, it's going to expand the pages and allow us to go all the way through them. Now, when you are creating a listing presentation, you do want to go through these the very first time you create one, kind of with a fine-tooth comb. You want to make sure you get all of the pages that needed to be updated. So as you can see, the second page is an instructions page. This is not something you generally want to leave in your listing presentation. So if you need to delete pages, you click the three little dots on that page and you can delete or duplicate. I'm going to hit delete and it's going to ask me to confirm. Now that is not to say that you cannot delete additional pages. That is just saying you definitely want to delete that one. For other pages, it's kind of your preference. You get to create the listing presentation that fits you and your business. So if there are certain pages in here that do not pertain to you or that you're not interested in keeping, you can certainly take those out. But let's kind of just go through them. So the first one is obviously just your template. We want to delete template. You could change this to say something else like the property address or something like that. From there, we go to page 2 now. You can change the names based on who this is for, who you have a listing presentation with. If you're not going to customize that every time, you may want to just remove it. If this is not something you want to edit every single time you have a listing presentation, the simpler the better. But you could change the photos. You'll want to swap your logos. Same as before, you pick the logo that you want to use and you just hit the replace. It's going to put it in the exact same box. You can still make it bigger if you want to, or move it around. If you don't like it up there, you can move it down here to the bottom. You'll then edit your information. So again, under images, pull in Scott's picture. We can crop that again, add in name. I'm just going to type this because I don't have Scott's info in here. And if you don't like how they're two different texts, you can certainly delete that as well. Personal preference here kind of looks a little bit strange to me. Edit phone number, email, app, website, all of that good stuff. From there, we go to our next page. Ooh, taking a second to load. And this is just kind of giving you basically a table of contents. So property, your guide, your custom marketing plan, representing your home. And then if you keep going through that, it's going to give you the additional information. So you can plug in the listing that you're going on a presentation for, photos, and all of the information. Stats on what's happening in that area where you're listing the property. Comparable properties. So if you've done your CMA, you can go ahead and plug those in. Photos, all of that good stuff. Just make sure you are, following all of your compliance with that. Next here, and again, like I said, you do want to make sure you go through these with kind of a fine-tooth comb because you don't want to leave something that is not supposed to be there or that you have to edit every time if you're not interested in doing that. So your needs come first. What's the one thing that has to happen to make this a dream scenario? How can I make that happen? All this stuff. So you can remove any of that you don't want, the entire page if you want to. The next one's the process. So this is going to go over the various process of that. These can also be edited if there's something that you want to add or remove that does not pertain to you. You can do that. Just keep in mind, these are generic listing presentations for everyone to use. So the things in them may not always pertain. Or you may be missing something. My app, so this is where you would put in your app code so that they can search for other properties, that you're notified of all of that and you stay in the loop. Your app code can be found in command. If you have any trouble with that, please reach out to us. We can help. Page 10, custom marketing plan. So if you have a set marketing plan that you are using and you want to showcase that, you can do all of that here. Finding your buyer. As you can see, a lot of these pages don't necessarily have to have something edited, but read through them, make sure. Keep going. Your social media plan, so you can customize that as to what you actually do for your business. Strategic promotion, so coming soon campaign, just listed campaign. Open house strategy. It's all in the details. So eye-catching sign, door knocking, professional photography, mass mobile marketing, your listing amplified. You have all of that already provided here. Real experience, real expertise. So this is where you can provide more information on yourself, years in business, etc. If you're a brand new agent and you may not have all of this, generally your market center can provide information for you to use as a whole market center until you've gotten your own. Again, make sure you edit all of this information about yourself and your market center. The proof is in the numbers. Another one, usually you can assist or use your market center's number to assist with filling those in. Credentials and awards. These are KW awards, but generally if you have your own, you can certainly include those. Leading the industry, so just some about Keller Williams. This is one that may or may not apply if you are a new agent and you don't have a portfolio of houses that you've sold. You may want to remove that page. I think there's a couple of these. So if you have specific featured listings you'd like to highlight, if you have testimonials that you've captured, you can go ahead and add those. A promise, we're getting towards the end. Selling safely, the bottom line, and then the last page is the end. It did have 29. I deleted that one at the very beginning. So this is the last one where you'd plug in your information for them to get in touch with you. It doesn't have your photo, but if you wanted to add it, you can certainly do so. I like to show this because some people like to know how to do it. If you're not clicked on the page, so if you click off of the design itself, you can pull in a frame. And that frame will allow you to just perfectly put your photo in it. So kind of just something that people like to know how to do. If you were to drag and hover over, you could do the same thing as replace, where it will quickly put that photo in that circle. Once you're done with this though, you can download it the exact same way. So by downloading and then do print for PDF or PDF standard. I do also like to show how you can do the digital booklet. So I don't know about you guys, but I lose paper as soon as it's handed to me. So if you did take a listing presentation to a listing appointment and they lose the packet, you could email it to them so that they could have that to refer back to. So I like to show this, it's under share. And if you do, and they just changed this, so bear with me. Well, maybe, oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't scroll down far enough. If you scroll down, it didn't used to have a scroll down, but if you share anyone with a link, so you can change this to say anyone with a link, only members, no access. If it's on anyone with the link and you copy that link, if you were to email this over to someone and they were to browse it or click on that, they could view this presentation in a digital booklet. So again, just something I like to do because you can then flip through the pages, look at it if you lost the like the actual packet, so that they can have a second copy of that digitally. They can also open that, download, print, etc. So a great little added feature for you to easily get to. And again, that is just under the share. And then scroll down for that. Oh, maybe I clicked too many times. It usually opens right here. So copy link. But that is it for the listing presentation. Again, make sure you go through that. You can order prints through here, same as the flyer, and have those delivered to you. Or you can just print them in your office or at a nearby printing company. So totally your call on that. I'm going to check to see if we have any questions. If you do have a question, you haven't dropped it in the chat, feel free to go ahead and drop it in. We did go through the majority of our content. So if you are good and do not have any questions, feel free to jump off, but I will hang around and go through any questions that come up. I'm going to go ahead and stop record though.